Hello Raptors fans. Jakob Poeltl talks about his return to the Raptors. If you want to follow this news and many others, subscribe to the channel and say what you think in the comments that we will update you daily on the news of Toronto Raptors. Now let's get the news. Leave it to the 2022-23 Toronto Raptors to spoil Jakob Poeltl's homecoming. Coming off 3 straight wins and the deadline day reacquisition of the veteran center, things were starting to look up. Poeltl had looked okay in a solid 17 minutes off the bench, playing his first game as Raptor since 2018, and his team was leading the Utah Jazz by 13 points with 5 minutes left on the clock. But in a season filled with bad losses, this one becomes an instant contender for one of their worst. Toronto was in the penalty less than 3 minutes into the fourth quarter and committed 11 fouls in the frame, putting Utah on the line 13 times and allowing the Jazz to shoot 13 for 17. The Raptors' defense gave up 39 points over the final 12 minutes. "It's not acceptable by our standards," said Fred VanVleet, who played most of the fourth quarter with 5 fouls and shot an airball on a crucial jumper inside the final minute of the 122-116 loss. Despite hitting just 6 of 24 three-point attempts, the Jazz shot 54% from the field and scored 76 points in the paint. It was the type of game that explains why Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster felt they needed to address the team's most glaring weakness, even though many expected them to operate as sellers ahead of Thursday's trade deadline. It's also the type of game that begs the question, why bother? Poeltl got the news that he had been traded late on Wednesday night and, fortunately, he didn't have to go very far. The 7th-year center was already in Toronto, having just played what ended up being his final game for San Antonio. Coincidentally, the Spurs had planned to stay the night, and Poeltl was scheduled to fly to Detroit with them the following morning. Poeltl, whose name was in the rumor mill leading up to the deadline, has since admitted that he was a bit distracted during a 112-98 loss to his former and, as it would turn out, future team. Shortly after, he found that the Raptors were acquiring him for Khem Birch, a protected first-round pick in 2024 and 2 second-round picks. "I was excited," Poeltl said ahead of Friday's contest. "It was a little bit of mixed emotions. I'm leaving a life behind in San Antonio. I was there for 4.5 years. This past season was a little bit tough because we've been losing games, so I was excited to get to Toronto and play winning basketball again and play for a playoff spot, go out there and compete again." So, what do you think? Can Jakob Poeltl help the Raptors find their way to victory again? Subscribe to the channel and leave your comment. Your opinion is very important to the Toronto Raptors. Anytime I'll update you on this.